For violating traffic law in the state of Colorado.
The word violation in law means to cause loss, injury, or harm. It also means to sexually advance on someone when it's unwanted. I did not do any of those things. So, again, we have to get our words and terms in line with the definitions of what we all are agreeing on here is the English language. We cannot use words and not agree on the definitions.
How are you?
I'll answer any questions.
Okay.
Everything's right there.
Not right now, baby.
Thank you.
Am I free to go?
Yep.
Thank you.
You cannot have a government organization who's supposed to work for the people come in to tax the people to use what is the people's. That is fraud. You may disagree with me. I, however, have the truth, the definitions, the facts, and the case rulings on my side.
Folks like you are what keep this democracy alive, because you do the homework, you do the research, you insist on following the Constitution. That's a remarkable thing. That's a wonderful thing. You need to always question the government. Don't just go along and be afraid. Don't be scared of the government. The government should be scared of the people. The people shouldn't be scared of the government. And that's wonderful that citizens like you challenge the government, you do your homework, you come to court, you get a chance to be heard. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
So I appreciate everything you do. I appreciate and respect everything.
Well, you're operating a motor vehicle in the state.
I'm not operating a motor vehicle. Motor vehicle is defined in the paperwork as a vehicle on the roadways doing commerce. This is not a commercial vehicle.
You're operating a light blue Nissan Maxima with no license plates. And
I'm not operating it. I'm traveling from point A to point B.
At this time.
Then I guess we have a disagreement in the understanding. I presented you paperwork. You've presented me nothing other than your understanding. So my understanding is backed by definition, Supreme Court rulings, and the Motor Vehicle Code. You've given me nothing except what you believe to be true. So where can we go with this?
Nothing in this video is to be construed as legal advice. We are not attorneys, and nobody is telling you what to do. The purpose of this video is not to try to get away with anything. The aim here is to spread the vital message of freedom. You're either free to go about your business in peace, or you're not. You're either free to own your property without harassment and theft, or you're not. You're either free to travel without permission or interference, or you're not. When you obtain a license, you are requesting permission from another man or group of men to do something that you have the right to do without anyone's permission. As long as you aren't harming, threatening to harm, and as long as you're not coercing, defrauding, or stealing or damaging the property of others, you're free to make your own way through this life in peace. And nobody in this world has the right to infringe on your freedoms, even if they attempt to infringe under color of law. In other words, you're free to travel without permission, permit, registration, licensing, or begging. Even though our rights don't come from the founding documents of this country, namely the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights, these documents do a decent job of codifying those rights. You don't even have to read far into the second paragraph of the Declaration of Independence to find this. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You are free to pursue happiness, which includes the right to travel. Travel is an unalienable right that you're born with, not a privilege you're granted by another man or group of men calling themselves government. According to the Declaration of Independence, government was supposedly instituted for one reason only: to secure those rights, including the right to travel. Government is not supposed to be here to swindle you out of them by playing word games. Even the courts recognize this right to travel. The Chicago coach case declares, no state government entity has the power to allow or deny passage on the highways, byways, or waterways, transporting his vehicles and personal property for either recreation or business, but by being subject only to local regulation, i.e. safety, caution, traffic lights, speed limits, etc. Travel is not a privilege requiring licensing, vehicle registration, or forced insurances. Wingfield versus Fielder says, the court makes it clear that a license relates to qualifications to engage in profession, business, trade, or calling. Thus, when merely traveling without compensation or profit outside of business enterprise or adventure with the corporate state, no license is required of the natural individual traveling for personal business, pleasure, or transportation. Berberian versus Lucier states, the use of the automobile as a necessary adjunct to the earning of a livelihood in modern life requires us, in the interest of realism, to conclude that the right to use an automobile on the public highways partakes of the nature of a liberty within the meaning of the constitutional guarantees. So here are a couple video examples of where the right to travel was agreed to by the cops who were confronted, sometimes not so eloquently, to the reality that unalienable rights extend to the right to take your motorized property from point A to point B on the public roads without licensing or registration requirements, as long as the individual behind the wheel isn't a driver for hire. So sit back, enjoy this video, and feel free to add to it and include any other videos in the comments section of successful right to travel interactions.
Here's the deal, sir. I'm just going to advise you, and I know you're going to do what you're going to do, and you have your interpretation, I have my interpretation of the law. You probably need to get a driver's license so you can avoid this. I know you don't want to. Register the vehicle to avoid this. I'm also going to make you aware that you have an arrest warrant out of, where's the warrant out of? Crystal Springs? Hawthorne, out of Hawthorne, Nevada. You have an arrest warrant. I don't know if you're aware of that, but you might want to take care of that so it doesn't go further on something like that. I'm just going to admonish you about all these things, give you a warning today. Do you have any questions from me, sir?
I feel that I've done anything wrong. I'm just a traveler. I'm trying to travel. I just dropped my daughter off at school. I'm just trying to travel back home, be peaceful, and I'm trying to cause no problems.
Okay.
You know, I understand you saying that.
Who else knows about this driver's stuff? Go home. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that, sir.
Like I was saying, just finish so I can get you on your way.
Yeah.
So you and I both know you're doing greater than the speed limit. There's a lot of pedestrians out there. There's that market that's right there and everything like that. And just for safety reasons. Okay?
Yeah, we need to hold the peace out here.
So
I know.
I'm not going to give you a ticket. I want you to make sure I get across to you that that's not safe to be driving that fast.
Thank you.
The speed limit is 30, but because it's a construction zone, it's reduced. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for holding the peace and not ripping me out of this car, trying to search me, trying to do. That's just usually what happens, you know, because you guys got to make sure you get seizures, you got to do things like that. And I know what you guys got to do out here because people are selling drugs out here, people are running around with guns out here. And I mean, to me, I don't even care. They don't bother me. I don't care. They have the right to their own consciousness to carry a firearm. Is that their constitutional right? But this is the hood. I work here on 6th and Ohio. I'm trying to get the hell out of here because it's just too much, dude. I got prostitutes coming up to me. I got people stealing out of my cars. And hopefully we're starting a thrift store over here on 23rd and Bizzle, right by O'Reilly's. So we're going to be doing a lot of community work here, but a lot of it is also teaching people their rights. That you don't need to go to the DMV to get a license plate for your private automobile that's a household consumer good. Driver's license is for commerce, participating in commerce, and that's under 49 USC 31301. That's for doing trade, traffic, transportation.
It's all right. You can explain it, but for my laws and my policies,
well, I mean, even your friends or your children, you know?
I know, but
the DMV is ripping you off too.
I have to go by because I have to know who you are.
Of course.
If I find out who you are, it's kind of like one of these situations where I'm like, well, you seem like a straightforward guy. You're out here. You hold the
Of course.
For a living and everything.
Of course.
You're going to see your friends.
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be. So you're not out here, like you said,
of
trying
course.
to break laws.
But it is my privacy. I don't have to give you my name. I only do that under stress because I need to go meet someone. If I had nothing to do, I would have not gave you my name.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this short, let you go, because like you said, you're going ahead and you got to get something.
I'm just trying to travel, man. So I appreciate you holding your oath. You took an oath when you took this job, and we got to hold this Constitution, or these corporations are going to fuck us, man.
Make sure you do it smart, because like you said, you never know. Okay?
Of course. All right, brother.
Be safe, all right?
Peace and love. Hold the peace in the neighborhood.
Alright, here's your insurance and your registration. You can say and manipulate whatever you want, but I'm telling you, you're driving under suspension in the city of Bethany, which is an arrestable offense, because your driver's license privileges have been suspended by the state of Oklahoma?
May I say that I didn't get suspended? I resigned it. I rescinded it. I took it back.
So you're telling me I'm a liar right now?
I'm not saying you're lying. I'm just
Oklahoma has suspended your driving privileges. I'm telling you what DPS computer tells me right now.
Okay.
No matter how you did what or so forth, your driving privileges are suspended in the state of Oklahoma. So I'm letting you know that if you continue to drive in the city of Bethany, you're probably going to go to jail.
Okay.
And I would suspect that you're going to go to jail and your baby's going to be untied. I'm telling you. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm not here to do all that.
You're being a good guy today.
I wanted to make sure your vehicle was not stolen. That's my primary concern. I don't like jacking with normal people. Now, if you had a warrant or car was stolen, then we'd have an issue. But at the same time, if you want to play the word games, that's fine. Okay? So, have a good day.
I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Have a good day.
Alright, sir, so, I mean, obviously my only concern is that the vehicle's insured for the safety of the public. If there was to be an accident, that there's some kind of...
Is that required of a private traveler?
If you have a vehicle on the road, yes.
Is this a vehicle or is this consumer goods? Because it's deemed by Supreme Court rulings that a private automobile is consumer goods and a vehicle is deemed equipment used for commercial uses.
So this isn't a vehicle?
No, this is my private property. I paid for it, I maintain it, I take care of it. I'm not being paid in any way whatsoever any time I go out and use it.
Like I said, man, my only concern really is just the insurance, just because, I mean, if you were to get into an accident...
I understand all those, that's why I'm an extremely safe traveler. I complain and I bitch about most of the people you guys give licenses to out here.
Alright, man. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Alright. Hey, I just, honestly, thank you for honoring your oath. I mean, a lot of cops, from what I've seen from my responses online, think that I'm a heinous criminal just because I want to get from point A to point B.
No, it sounds like you're doing, what you have a right to do.
Yeah, and I'm taking the precautions I need to do it.
My only concern is just for the public.
Yeah.
That you've got the insurance, but you're within your rights. And I hope you have a good day. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
You have a good day.
I was an awesome cop.
That was a cop that didn't understand what I was doing, went back, got what information he needed, and came back and realized that I'm doing what I have the right to do.
And officer. And we're on our way.
It sounds like you're doing, what you have a right to do.
Yeah.
But, you're within your rights. And I hope you have a good day. Okay.
All right, thank you.
It sounds like you're doing, what you have a right to do.
Yeah.
But, you're within your rights. And I hope you have a good day. Okay.
All right, thank you.
It sounds like you're doing, what you have a right to do.
Yeah.
But, you're within your rights. And I hope you have a good day. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Judicial Officer Judge E. Young. Failure to carry your registration in vehicle, dismiss. See that? Improper display of a license plate on vehicle, dismiss. You see that? Failure of resident to obtain motor vehicle registration, dismiss. You see that? Operating vehicle without proper registration, dismiss. 4/11/2012, case dismissed. Violations belong with MISD case. Excuse me, and then it has a case number. The first charge was failure to obtain a certificate of title for a vehicle. You see, dismissed. Operating a vehicle without financial responsibility, dismissed. Driving while suspended, dismissed. No valid operator's license, dismissed. 4/11/2012, case dismissed. Violations belong with MISD case, and then it got the case number.
Yeah, I'm just gonna record this interaction.
Okay. I need your license for that ticket.
What makes you believe that I need that to travel from point A to point B?
Because you have no license plates on your vehicle, sir.
Would you like to see my paperwork?
Yes, I would. I asked for it 2 seconds ago.
That's not what I have for you, sir.
Okay.
I have here the definitions from the Motor Vehicle Code. I have the Supreme Court decisions and everything you need here to understand that I don't need a license, registration, or any documentation to travel from point A to point B. It is a right that has been preserved by the Supreme Court and the law of the land.
Okay. sir, in order to drive in Colorado, you need to have license.
It's not driving. The definition says right there, sir, driving is doing commerce where you're employed on the road.
ID?
I don't need to present ID unless I'm in the commission of a crime, sir. I have not committed any crime.
You violated traffic law in the state of Colorado.
The definitions are right there, sir. If you'd like to go to court, we can handle it.
I need your ID, okay? I need your license, insurance, registration. You're operating a motor vehicle.
Did you even look at my paperwork at all?
Sir, I'm looking at your paperwork.
Did you read the definitions? The motor vehicle code definition is in there. It says driving is doing commerce on the roadway. I am not doing commerce. I am not employed.
Can you start another?
If you could please get a supervisor out here, I'd appreciate it, sir.
Okay, do me a favor and then turn the car off then. I'll get a supervisor out here for you. Okay.
Oh, I'm not going anywhere, sir.
Okay, can you just turn the car off for me then?
Am I obligated to turn my car off? I'm not intending to go anywhere. I'd like to handle this matter and settle it right now. I have no reason to leave. Why would I do that?
Okay. I'm getting another unit out here per your request.
Sure.
Okay. All I asked was to see your license, insurance, registration.
I'm telling you that I don't have such because I'm not required to by law. It's been upheld. It's been upheld by the
state of Colorado. You were required to have a license, insurance, registration.
It's federally been upheld.
Motor vehicle on state roads.
The definition is right there from the motor vehicle code. Driving is defined as doing commerce on the roadway employed by somebody. I am not employed to do commerce on the roadway. I am traveling in my private property from point A to point B, which, as it says in there, is my right to do so, upheld many times in the Supreme Court.
Just hang out for a second.
Sure, no problem, bud.
I'm going to ask you one more time for your license, insurance, registration. Okay?
Sir, there's no circuitous route here. I'm telling you.
Can you at least tell me your first and last name and date of birth?
I don't believe that I'm obligated to give you any of that information unless I'm in the commission of a crime. If I'm wrong, please produce the law for me. I'm entitled to see the law if that's the law. This is nothing personal. I have no issue with you. I'm simply trying to abide by the law of the land and by the motor vehicle code and by all the rights given to me in this country.
I don't know what motor vehicle code you're following, but in the state of Colorado, you need to have a license, insurance, and registration to operate a motor vehicle on state roads.
Okay, can I give you the definitions of that by Black's Law's Dictionary? Operating a motor vehicle is defined
That's
in...
not the dictionary I follow, man.
Then you have a conflict of interest with the Supreme Court because the Supreme Court, which is the highest law of this land, follows Black's Law's Dictionary. So I'm not interested in contracting with you or following anything that you follow. Like I said, even in the motor vehicle code, which you guys are following as a corporation, the Supreme Court is beyond that. But let's just take the motor vehicle code. The definition of my understanding of a motor vehicle is a vehicle that is doing commerce on the roadway. It even gives definitions in the code. It says tractor, trailer, bus, or a taxi, right? Taxi driver, bus driver, truck driver. I am not a driver because I'm not transporting or in the act of trafficking any goods or peoples. Let
me ask you a question. What were you doing right there on Colfax then? Operating the motor vehicle. Would you consider yourself a driver?
No,
of a motor vehicle?
Absolutely not. A driver by definition. I understand there's a colloquialism that we don't understand here, or maybe they haven't told us or we don't understand, but the word driving by definition means you must be employed by somebody. So I was not driving. I was traveling in my private property from point A to point B, which, like I said, the Supreme Court has upheld many times. I have the right to do so. If I was, let's say, doing Uber or some form of hauling goods or services on the roadways, then yes, the government has a right to know that I can operate the roadway to do that business and then tax me, of course. But I'm not doing such. I'm traveling from point A to point B in property that I purchase privately and legally and lawfully.
Okay. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What is your name, man? Why do you not want to identify yourself?
I just believe that nothing personal to you. I have had some incidents in the past where any information that I give, as you know, can and will be used against me in a court. And I don't believe that I have any necessity to give any information.
You see my name. Right?
But you're required to produce your name because you are a government employee. It actually says I can ask you for 3 forms of ID, which you have to produce. You cannot ask me for... This is by my understanding of you guys' contractual law to uphold the Constitution and even the codes, quote unquote, of the state and the city. My understanding of that is I am not required to provide any of that information unless I'm being charged or you know, some kind of crime is suspected, which I don't believe.
You're being charged for violating traffic code right now.
If you want to bring those charges, that's fine. But when we go to court and they convict me in the local court, I will go to Supreme Court and you will be held accountable and liable for those charges, just like a credit card. You cannot bring charges and not be held liable for them because the responsibility and onus is on the person bringing them. So I would hope that you'll be able to prove in a court of law, based on case law and everything else, that I don't have a right to not operate, see, this is the game. I don't have a right to take my private property from point A to point B, which like I said, the Supreme Court ruling is in that documentation I gave you. All the definitions are there. So I'm not coming from my own manifestation. I'm not coming from something that I want to be true or made up. I've read the definitions. I've gone through the case law. I've looked at the Supreme Court decisions. It's expressly stated in there. The law is expressed, not implied. This is my understanding of it. You know, I'm a man who does no harm, and that's how I live my life. I live my life by truth and doing no harm. The law of love. You know, I have no issues with you or anybody else, and I'm not in the doing anything wrong at this time. I've caused no loss, injury, or harm to anybody. I'm taking my property from point A to point B.
Do you live in Lakewood, Denver? Where do you live, man?
I would rather not answer any questions, sir.
Okay. Do you live in the state of Colorado?
I'd rather not answer any questions.
Okay. Well, you're operating a motor vehicle in the state.
I'm not operating a motor vehicle. Motor vehicle is defined in the paperwork as a vehicle on the roadways doing commerce. This is not a commercial vehicle.
You're operating a light blue Nissan Maxima with no license plates.
I'm not operating it. I'm traveling from point A to point B.
At this time.
Then I guess we have a disagreement in the understanding. I presented you paperwork. You've presented me nothing other than your understanding. So my understanding is backed by definitions, Supreme Court rulings, and the Motor Vehicle Code. You've given me nothing except what you believe to be true. So where can we go with this?
The statements that I've made to you are ones that are produced in the Colorado Revised Statutes.
Can you show them to me?
On traffic law.
Can you show them to me?
I can. I'm going to go grab the book right now and just open it up and scroll through the pages for you.
Well, I was kind enough to have all my paperwork and things in order and my understanding here to present to you.
You have not provided me with any proof of insurance, any driver's license, or any proof of registration.
The paperwork that I provided to you makes those things not applicable to me because I am not doing commerce on the roadway. This
provided me 3 printouts
of the definitions of the words in the Motor Vehicle Code and the Supreme Court ruling. Didn't you swear an oath to uphold the Constitution and the law of the land? The Supreme Court is the highest law in the land, so that one decision that I showed you should be enough for you to either go and look at what I'm presenting again and give a deeper, more detailed look at it, or to understand that we have no interaction right now. Because like I said, there's many Supreme Court cases on file. That is the law we're supposed to follow in this country. We can have disagreements in local court, but these have already been decided upon. The Supreme Court will hear my case as well if you guys bring charges, because I will take it there.
We will be bringing charges.
Sir, again,
for violating traffic law in the state of Colorado.
The word violation in law means to cause loss, injury, or harm. It also means to sexually advance on someone when it's unwanted. I did not do any of those things. So, you know, again, we have to get our words and terms in line with the definitions of what we all are agreeing on here is the English language. We cannot use words and not agree on the definitions. I'm not making up my own definitions. The state of Colorado is a whole other discussion. And furthermore, it doesn't even come into this because, like I said, any roadways federally, the people, a man, a woman has a right to use the public roadways to travel from point A to point B. It's been ruled on. You cannot have a government organization who's supposed to work for the people come in to tax the people to use what is the people's. That is fraud. You may disagree with me. I, however, have the truth, the definitions, the facts, and the case rulings on my side. So like I said, if you bring charges forth, I expect you to show up on the day of whatever the proceeding will be. And then I expect you to show up at the Supreme Court proceeding. And we will have a discussion in front of whoever needs to be there about what I have the right to do and not do, since you seem to believe you have a right to stop me and take up my time and take a right off me. We'll have that discussion if that's what you choose to do. I don't believe you should, because I think by conversing with me, you can ascertain that I am an upstanding, intelligent individual who's out here doing no harm, and I have no, you know, there's really no reason to have any issues with me.
Why is that?
Because like I said, you know, and we can get into all other things. I don't know if you're interested in all that, but you see where our country's going, and what we're doing right here is part of the reason why. But I'm glad we're doing this, and I expected this, you know? So it's not really an issue for me. You know, I have to stand on what's true and what's right. I have to stand on my conviction, you know, in my heart, and what the definitions and the understanding tells me. So that's all I'm attempting to do.
Well, I think we might have a misunderstanding upon definitions here.
Again, the Supreme Court, it's been the Supreme Court, so let's say we both didn't understand definitions. Supreme Court has heard all these cases, and the judges have ruled over and over again that the right of the, if you want, I can search them for you right now, the quotes, the right of the people to use the public roadways is an untaxable uninfringible right. You cannot tax somebody, force them to get registration, force them to get insurance. You cannot force any of that. All interactions are in this country are supposed to be voluntary. They're not supposed to be under coercion and duress. Do this or else, you know, and you can't use fear and safety as a reason to take people's rights.
Okay.
You know?
Well, my supervisor's here. If you said you wanted to talk to him.
I mean, again, it's more about what you plan on doing, because if you plan on moving forward contractually, then obviously he's going to be the one here to supervise that whole situation, and then he will be on record to go to court as well, being okay with the fact that he supervised you, stopping me, taking my time and my rights, and then telling me that I don't have a right to do what's already been ruled on I have a right to do. Okay. That's the only reason I want him here, so that we're all under the same understanding.
Sure. Sarge.
How you doing, sir?
Good. Hey, I'm Sergeant Valdez. I understand your sovereign stuff and everything and all that. Are you? What do you refer to be?
Yeah, I don't even. I don't.
Living man, or how do you?
I don't even like to get into the terms and labels.
No,
I'm just a man.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, just like you are.
Or just a man.
Just a man. Just like you are a man. You know, you're a man. I'm a man.
Understood.
And from my understanding, again, like I told this man, was that I've done my research. I have a conviction in my heart. Okay. My mind and my logic aligns with that. Logic, morals, and ethics. This is private property. I purchased it legally and lawfully.
Understood.
And I'm taking it from point A to point B. And the Supreme Court has ruled that I do not need to register, license, or any of that unless I'm doing commerce on the roadways. I handed in the definitions, has all the definitions there. What's in the Motor Vehicle Code and what Black's Law says. That operating motor vehicles defined as doing commerce on the roadway.
I understand. So, sir, just so you know, obviously, we don't recognize that within our municipality laws.
It's common law.
And I understand the common law and stuff, but our laws are obviously not in tune with your common law and the way it's practiced, so the court's going to have to be the one to dispute those. Do you understand the reason he pulled you over? And
Absolutely not.
Why? Okay.
Absolutely not.
Have you been told why you've been pulled over this afternoon?
He told me his perception, but I don't understand it at all.
Okay. And so we can help you understand the perception of why you're pulled over and what he told you. What did he specifically tell you?
He believes, like a lot of officers believe, that the common law, like you just said, does not apply to them. However, this is not my common law. Common law is the law of the land. It's backed by the Supreme Court and the Constitution.
What is the officer's common law perspective on why the stop was initiated for you?
Oh, I would have no idea, because common law is defined as loss, injury, or harm needing to take place in order to move forward. I did not do any of those things.
Okay.
So his corporate law or legal understanding would be that I am an employee of a corporation. I would assume this is understanding somewhere, because again, motor vehicle means a vehicle doing commerce on the roadway. Driver means someone employed by someone to do commerce on the roadway. The code even describes tractor trailer, taxi driver, or bus driver. That's why we use the term driver. Anybody who's behind this is not a driver. A driver is defined as someone employed to do commerce on the roadway. I am not that. I am a man taking my property from point A to point B.
So what is the reason for the stop today? No plates, okay? That's a common thing that we obviously enforce and do with our laws and what we believe in and what we have to do. So the probable cause exists for him, not with you, in your understanding, for him to go ahead and initiate a traffic stop based on the plates.
What is his reason to believe that I'm driving this vehicle?
Well, you're operating the vehicle and driving it, and you were observed driving it. Whether
I wasn't driving. Driving is defined as commerce. Can you read the paper?
I understand your version of it.
No, that's the definition by Black's Law Dictionary and the Motor Vehicle Code.
We don't follow that.
The Supreme Court does. So then
we're not the feds. We don't operate under the Supreme Court.
Yeah, but you swore an oath to uphold the law of the land and the Constitution.
Absolutely.
The Supreme Court is the highest law of the land.
But ours is under a municipality, and ours is under the Jefferson County division. So you'd have to go to the Jefferson County for anything. Has he issued you any ticket or done anything?
No, sir.
Well, exactly. So we're in a common state here of just talking about the situation, and that's it. And you're being cordial, and
that's a good thing, because we need to have these discussions.
Well, that's it. And so that's what he's discussing with
you.
So understanding your beliefs and what you think aren't necessarily ours, because what we have to practice a certain thing, there's an understanding there. I hope you know that. Obviously, we pulled you over because we don't have the same understanding of what your understanding is of the law. Do you understand that? As long as we have a common agreement on that, I'm good. You're going to have your definition of it is. We're going to have what our obligations are.
But what is yours based on?
So ours is based on Colorado revised statutes and traffic codes that we are to enforce. That's what ours is based
The term
on.
trafficking means to take goods from one place to another.
I understand
That's why drug trafficking is defined as taking drugs from one place to the other. I'm not trafficking anything. I'm traveling, sir.
Listen, by our standards and our Colorado revised statutes, you are an operator of a vehicle operating a motor vehicle. This is a motor vehicle. And I could sit and I could have coffee with you and I'd love going into this stuff, but I'm just telling you the way it is and how it works for us. And that's what he's trying to tell you is the reason why you were pulled over and all that stuff. And you said, I'm just a man, I'm just a man. I appreciate that and stuff like that. If he's asking you for identification, you don't want to give it, I understand why you're not wanting to give it and why you believe that you don't have to give it and stuff. If he were to ask you, what would your name be given by the corporation or the land, as far as government, is what we see as government, would you have a legal name under that? What would be your false name that you be giving, which would be the government name that we go to that would be given to you? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
And if you're comfortable in providing that with him, that's what he wants.
Yeah, I'd rather not provide anything, because again, once I provide any kind of information, I'm contracting with him.
Understand.
And I would rather not contract with him. Again, this, first of all, again, we can go back to you guys' rules. Those red and blue lights are not to be pulling people over. Those are emergency lights. They're to be used for people to move over so they can move past. Just by me pulling over, I have submitted to something that I know is incorrect, because the purpose of those lights are emergency lights. They're not for pulling people over. So I did so because I understand that in today's day and age, that if I do not do that and I go like this and say, go ahead, which is what it actually tells you you should do when a policeman pulls up behind you and the regulation says, oh, roll down your window, pull over, and wave him on. I did not do that, because then he'll say, oh, you were trying to... I understand the psychology of how most officers think.
Well,
I understand...
You complied and you pulled over and stuff, and that's a start.
Because I want this interaction.
Well,
I want the interaction one way or the other. We have to get it on record.
Have you interacted like this in a court of law already?
I would rather not get into that.
Understood, but I'm just, and if you have...
I have a lot of experience in a courtroom and with the material.
Perfect. And so with that being said and stuff, I just want you... So we're not wasting time and being naive on understanding all this stuff. You're an educated man. You understand what your beliefs are. We have our certain rules that we have.
They're not my... Can we just say, I don't mean to be... I'm not being a dick. They're not my beliefs, sir. It's a knowing that I've come to based on eternal truth. This truth is not going to change whether you understand...
Your heart.
It's a conviction. It's a conviction. The same thing the court will have to use to either convict me or not, because it rests in my heart and it cannot be changed by any other man's belief. A belief and a conviction are two very different things.
I understand. I understand. And you hold it true to yourself.
Absolutely. I live by certain morals, logic, and ethics that I hold myself to at all times.
You have a belief in the Constitution.
Not a belief. I have a knowing that the Constitution is codified based on universal law, that no man has the right to rule over any other man. That will always be a truth since the day we came here to the day we die, because it is illegitimate and is based on coercion, duress, and force.
So you have a knowing.
I have a knowing. It is unchanging. I am the same yesterday as I am today as I will be tomorrow.
Okay, and I hope you can respect that. Obviously, we have a knowing and understanding.
You have a belief system that you are adhering to, and it is not in line with truth, sir.
It may not be in line with your truth.
No, the truth is unchanging. You have your perspective, I have my perspective.
Well, that's just it. That's a difference.
By us conversing, we come to one truth.
Absolutely.
And that truth is unchanging.
We may not come to an agreement on the truth, but we will come to a truth.
The universe has one truth that we all must come to understand. If we don't, we will suffer consequences, individually and together.
I appreciate your cooperation and understanding with it. You've been more than pleasant to deal with on it, and I've dealt with many people that have the same understanding of things as you do and stuff like that. So let me talk to my officers and see what the plan is here and stuff, and I appreciate your cooperation.
I appreciate you, sir. You've been cordial with me. You had a good rapport with me, and you haven't been forceful in any way.
I got no reason why. So thank you for your cooperation. Give me 1 second, my man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So how would you refer to me? Would you refer to me as Mr. Valdez or just a man? So I know from my education.
Mr. Valdez.
I don't expect you to say Sergeant Valdez or anything.
Yeah, I mean, even a judge, right? Like any man, once you take it out of the, a man has duties and responsibilities, right? So one of those duties and responsibilities would be acting as someone.
Sure.
Right? So a judge is acting as a judge, but he is a man first.
If you're employed in whatever you do, what's your trade and what do you do that's your specialty as far as employment? Would you be referred to your title of employment? So like if you were a DJ or something at a club?
Absolutely not.
So how do you...
Absolutely not, because that is an ability to respond. That is a responsibility that I take on in order to generate currency in this realm. But who I am and what I am is even beyond a man, because the man is, I'm only taking temporary possession of my physical body.
But how do you end up doing it? Like, how would you classify your job title and stuff like that?
Yeah.
This guy's distracting me. I'm sorry.
If you had a job title, like, how would you classify yourself in a job title to work? If you do you work?
Oh, of course.
Okay, so you do work and you get U.S. currency and all that stuff like that, and you do have to pay taxes.
Oh, I don't get into all that. I'm not going to get into all that.
Regardless of that, if you have a title, do you have to put a title? If you go to apply for a job, do you have to adhere to that title?
I mean, that title, while I'm operating under that, what would be the word here? But like in that capacity, when I'm operating, when I'm on their clock and I'm taking money from them back to commerce, right? If I'm employed on the roadways, then I'm classified as a driver. So you would refer to me as a driver. But if I'm not taking money to do a service, then I have no classification or title.
Well, that's why I asked you about it. Like, if you were a DJ at a club and stuff, and you were taking money from,
I'm DJ. I'm DJ jerk off.
Yeah,
you know,
whoever.
On Friday night when I'm taking money and I'm in the club, but I'm still a man first, right?
Okay.
Like, I'm acting as a DJ, just like we're all acting, you know, in the world. Like Shakespeare said, you know, all the world is a stage. We're all players upon it.
I understand.
You know.
Okay, so you cover your VIN for the purposes of no identification and stuff like that, right?
Well, I just know the whole routine, and I know that there's always going to be some end road into trying to build a case. And this vehicle is not stolen. This vehicle's not reported stolen. There's no reason to believe I'm not the owner of it. So I don't believe that anybody has the right to.
Well, but that's the thing. I mean, for us to not, the ignition's not punched. You cooperated. You pulled over. Those are uncharacteristics of somebody who's stolen a vehicle and stuff like that. But I mean, through, and I don't want to get into semantics for us, through our beliefs of what we have and stuff as far as operating a vehicle on a roadway, it has to be licensed, registered, all the stuff that you already know and stuff, what our beliefs are and what we practice and what we adhere to. VIN has to be present, all that stuff that we have.
There also is officer discretion on all these things.
Yes,
because if I provide you with an understanding that, you know, leads you to a deeper understanding on your end of what I'm out here doing, and I'm not causing any loss, injury, or harm, then
you've been more than cooperative with me, and that's why they called me over here and stuff, so I could talk to you about this, because I'm also fascinated by all this stuff too.
And that's a good thing, man. It's great to see.
Well, I want to educate myself on it.
But that's the thing. You say it like it's common sense. I've dealt with a lot of officers, and they'll tell me, listen, I don't even care what the truth is, and they'll tell me, you seem like a smart guy. Just do as you're told. I didn't even do that with my own parents. You know, I'm not going to do that with anybody in this realm. I do what the truth leads me to and we have to comply, because if not, we're going to lose our livelihood. This is where our country's at now, giving out bad faith health advice.
It is.
You know.
Well, yeah, I would love to have coffee with you. Anyway,
I'm sure you would, because I know where a lot of you guys stand. So, you know, a lot of this shit's bullshit.
Here's the thing, sir. So what I have told my officer, instructed my officer, is, you know, obviously you have your idea of what you're gonna do and what you're focused on and stuff. And I said, well, you know, if he's not gonna identify himself, and you know, we're not gonna issue him a summons or anything else like that, and he's been more than cordial with us stuff. I asked him to get the VIN at least off the vehicle so we could document the VIN on the vehicle, and that's all I asked him to do. But you have the VIN covered up, so that's why he was looking for the VIN, and that's all I was telling him to do. And he was just gonna cut you out of here and get you out of here and stuff.
Okay.
So that's what he wanted to do, and if you're good with it, that's what I'd like him to do, is just grab the VIN so we can get you out of here and get you on your way. And if you'd like my business card, I'll give you my business card, and more than happy to do that.
Now, am I obligated to do that?
No, I'm asking you. That's all I'm asking you.
You're personally asking me.
I'm personally saying, if you're good with it, if you can do the VIN and get my officer out of here, I'd appreciate it.
Okay, and what's the reason for that? Just to make sure it's not a stolen vehicle?
That's all I want to do. And I don't believe, like I told you, you're being more than cooperative. You pulled over, which is not common, and the fact that it's not punched or anything else like that. And I understand what your practice.
Now, typically, I just stick with, I don't comply with anything that I'm not obligated to. Because as a man, you're asking me to do you a favor to make sure this vehicle is not stolen, I will do so. However, as a man, if something comes to that after what you just told me, because you are going to cut me loose, you're not going to give me any summonses.
I'm not going to pull you out of a car. I'm not going to take you to Jefferson County Jail. I'm not going to do anything.
You're not going to give me any tickets or any summonses?
No, we're not. We're just going to grab the VIN.
Okay.
If you're good with that.
That's fine.
Are you okay with my card?
Sure.
All right, I appreciate it.
And if you ever want to get together on personal time and have a conversation, I'm more than open and willing to do that. As a matter of fact, I look at it as a duty and a responsibility as an American to educate, or to help, not even educate, I don't want to bring it to an ego thing, but to bring more understanding together to who and what we are doing here. You know, what our shared role in being Americans is.
Is it the concept for the about? Is it all fall under anything like British law or anything else like that? Too?
That's part of
British law.
Again, this stuff gets very circuitous, and there's a lot of little things that you have to, little rabbit trails you have to go down. But part of this whole thing, right, stems from the birth certificate, where when there was, and we're going to go through this again, they're calling it the Great Reset now. We had a Great Depression. They came in with a system, birth certificate, social security number, where the government promised everybody benefits and privileges in exchange for their rights, and all they had to do was be given a number and a secondary name.
What about, like, so with you, obviously you go shopping and stuff to get stuff and everything, and do they confront you when you don't wear your mask or anything? Do they confront you when you don't wear your mask?
Yeah, they do. So, you know, but
is it all cool though? You go in and they don't say anything?
I converse with them the same way that I talk to you. You know, I try to be loving, I try to be compassionate, I try to be faithful, and I try to deliver them a message that touches their spirit, so that they can open their mind and heart to the truth that we're all supposed to be experiencing here.
Yeah, that's fascinating stuff. Okay, well, I appreciate you talking to me about it and stuff like that.
I appreciate you having a care in your heart, man. There's not many people nowadays who care for anything, let alone truth and what's right.
It's a crazy world right now.
Absolutely.
As you know.
Absolutely, and that's why we need to do our due diligence, and we need to be vigilant as far as serving truth. Because we can serve our belief systems, our egos, our careers, all this nonsense. If we don't serve the one truth, we're all going to lose it all soon, sir. We're going to lose our economy, our currency, which is a fiat currency backed by no gold and silver. It's losing its value day by day. They're moving over to electronic currency. There's a reason for all this stuff. This is not conspiracy theory. This is big corporations, big business, certain big banking, central banking, cartels,
Bitcoin, VMO.
Bro, it's all connected. You know, you see the internet censorship now. You see the left-right division in the politics. You got Black Lives Matter. You got supposed right-wing racists. It's all divide and conquer, man. They've been doing it since back to Rome. These are intergenerational banking families. Let me give you one more thing. Go look it up. Bridget d'Avignon. She was 12 years old. She went down in Guinness Book of World Records, the first historian to find out that all the presidents except for one are blood related back to one king. Okay? A king of France. All the presidents except for one. And this is all verified by mainstream media.
What is it, Bridget?
Bridget d'Avignon. And then you can search up 12-year-old presidents related as keywords. And it will pop up on YouTube. Might be kind of hard to find now, but it should still be up there. I gave it to someone last week. She went through all the genealogy and proved that all of our presidents except for Martin Van Buren are linked to one king. So you explain to me how we're out here voting and we have a right to vote and we're choosing. How could they all be related to one king?
Do you believe in email and stuff, or no? You don't do it?
I mean, yeah, why not?
Would you be willing to email me stuff?
Sure.
Can I put my email on there?
Absolutely.
From the card that I gave you?
Oh yeah.
Thanks, man. I don't think I have my email.
And see, this is what we're out here doing, and I'm not.
It's right there, actually. Never mind.
This is a good officer, and I want to put this officer on camera. This is Ricky Valdez. They just pulled me over. No license, no plates, no nothing, but that's fine because you don't need that to travel from point A to point B. And this man was willing to listen to me and understand what I was saying, and he could tell that I'm not up to no good out here. You know, and this is what the human experience is supposed to be about.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
You have a good day, my friend. You take care of yourself.
I appreciate you, Mr. Valdez.
Thank you. Be safe, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's how you do it, folks. That's how you do it right there. And I hope all you motherfuckers, look, I can't get this window up now. I'm all nervous and shit. But I hope all you motherfuckers are watching. I hope you're all watching, okay? All you people who told me that go ahead and try that shit with the police and see what they do. Well, I just tried it. No license, no registration, no insurance, no nothing, okay? They told me many times that we're going to, the first guy, we're going to arrest you, we're going to do whatever. No, whatever. Stick to it. Stick to your fucking truth. Supervisor came, he said, we're not doing anything. We're not going to summon you. We're not going to do anything. You seem to know what you're talking about, okay? Then he asked me as a man, can I see your VIN? Because I have it covered up. As a favor, can I see it? I normally don't do that. I said, you know what? You can read my VIN to make sure that my car is not stolen. Okay, but I didn't even need to do that. He said, you're not even obligated to do that. But as a man, he gave me his word, and I showed it to him. So here we are. The cops are going to let me go right here on Colfax in Colorado. No license, no registration, no insurance, no nothing, because I don't need any of that to travel from point A to point B. The Supreme Court has ruled on it. So now I'm going to post this video. And I hope everybody enjoyed it. And I'm feeling good about myself right now.
Guys, if you haven't done so already, subscribe to this channel. Hit the bell notification icon. Give it a thumbs up. Share it with everybody you know. And don't forget to subscribe to my private email list through my website, highimpactflix.com. I'll see you in the next video.